At first, I didn't realize what was happening or what was going to happen. I was breastfeeding my baby. Newborn and adorable, her hands so rosy and white resting there on my breast. As she grew, she got stronger and stronger. There were days when I fed her that I felt her latching on to me as if she had teeth. I clenched my fists and kept nursing because I believed it was the best thing for her. At times I cried out in pain. When she was satisfied and fell asleep, I became like a frightened animal, and I dreaded the sound of her crying out for more. Sometimes I'd poke around in her mouth looking for some sharp whitish point erupting through the open gum that might explain it. But then she'd cry, and I'd see what I was doing to her as if from above, my little girl stretched out on my knees while my fingers burrowed furiously in her mouth, twisting her lip, pushing it back. I heard her heart-rending wails, and then I would clutch her tightly to my chest, racked with the guilt of being a bad mother, maybe even a crazy mother, an unbalanced woman who abuses her baby. And then I would add my weeping to hers, and both of us would wail out our entwined sorrows in unison until we both settled down, and I felt her slow breathing that showed that she trusted me again. Then I'd say to myself, never again, that it was my problem, that I was nuts, that it was just exhaustion, the postpartum hormonal roller coaster, my lack of experience, that it was just a matter of time, that one day I would be like them, the good mothers, taking their chubby babies out for walks in the park, that one day I would be just like them, asking the newcomer with her scrawny baby if he was eating enough and sleeping well, if he was still breastfeeding or had started on cereal puree, because how old is he anyway? He's a bit small for his age, isn't he? Yes, one day I'd be one of them, and I'd be on the other side, on the good mothers in training side, with my baby carriage next to theirs, closing ranks against the still insecure newbies. All the blame and shame that I was now holding inside me every afternoon as I faced that fleet of baby carriages with their pink and brown infants. Meanwhile, as I did every afternoon, I prayed I would pass their test. And once again, with a quick goodbye and a sour taste in my mouth, I began the walk home, and the verdant park, speckled with all those little fleshy dots, faded into the distance. I stood up and went over to the crib. I watched her breathing while I searched for signs of trouble, emotion, or movement in her still expressionless baby face. She was sleeping peacefully, and inside her rosy mouth you could just catch a glimpse of the smooth, innocent gums. A muffled cry brought tears to my eyes. I picked her up, inhaled her scent deeply, and for the first time in months, I felt happy for a job well done and to see my little girl growing up healthy and beautiful despite everything. Even with all the pain and fear, I was a mother. Until the day she bit me. She latched on and sucked. She sucked and twisted my swollen, sore nipple between her gums, and her voraciousness was such that I was unable to satisfy her. I held my little girl against my breast with my left arm while I desperately bit down on the knuckles of my right hand. I was out of milk, and she was enraged. Her mouth let go of my bruised nipple for a moment, and then she suddenly pounced on it and bit so hard that it bled. I screamed and I pushed her away from me. She almost fell out of my arms. I supported my breast with the hand I had been sinking my own teeth into before. I curled in on myself. I curled, bent over her, and I wept until the sight of my daughter through my tears became monstrous and unspeakable. That's when I saw it, lurking and throbbing within her.